Imagine being trapped on a remote island. No phone, no rescue, no other human voice. Only the sounds of predators moving through thick jungle, and waves crashing endlessly against the shore. Now imagine surviving that nightmare. Not for days, not for months, but for more than 4 years. This is not fiction. This actually happened. And the man who endured it would unknowingly inspire one of the most famous survival stories ever written. Welcome back to Into the Deep, where real history is often more terrifying than any horror movie. Tonight's story pushes the limits of human endurance and the breaking point of the human mind. Alexander Selkirk was born in 1676 in the quiet Scottish village of Largo. But he was never meant for a quiet life. He was hot-tempered, defiant, restless. Where others feared the sea, Selkirk was drawn to it. By his early 20s, he had signed on as a buccaneer, sailing under English privateer William Dampier during the brutal War of the Spanish Succession. This was not adventure for glory. It was sanctioned violence on the open ocean. In 1704, Selkirk served aboard a decaying ship known as the Cinque Ports. The hull was weak. Supplies were running low. The ship was not seaworthy. Selkirk knew it. He warned the captain again and again. But the captain refused to listen. Tempers exploded, and in a moment of anger, Selkirk made a reckless declaration. He said he would rather stay on the island than continue sailing on a doomed ship. The captain did not hesitate. Selkirk was put ashore. Moments later, reality set in. This was not bravery. This was abandonment. Selkirk begged to be taken back. The answer was no. The ship sailed away, shrinking into the horizon, until he was completely alone. For 100 miles from civilization, all he had was a musket, a few tools, a Bible, and his own will to survive. The nights were terrifying. Strange screams echoed through the darkness. Isolation crushed his spirit. Regret haunted every waking moment. Selkirk later admitted that he often stared out at the ocean, wondering if death would be easier than facing another sunrise. Then nature forced his hand. During breeding season, massive sea lions flooded the beaches. They blocked his access to food and made the shoreline unlivable. With nowhere else to go, Selkirk moved inland. What he feared most became his salvation. Fresh water, edible plants, and wild goats left behind by earlier sailors. At first, he hunted them with his musket. When ammunition ran out, he did the unthinkable. He chased them on foot. Over time, he became faster, stronger, more animal than man. During one chase, Selkirk lost his footing and fell from a rocky cliff. The fall should have killed him. Instead, the goat he was chasing broke his fall. He lay injured for days, alive by pure luck. Another night, a different threat emerged. Rats. They crawled over his body while he slept, biting his hands, chewing his feet. Sleep became impossible. So Selkirk adapted. He tamed wild cats. They slept around him at night, keeping the rats away. Man and animal bound together by survival. Days passed, then months, then years. Selkirk built shelters from wood and grass near fresh water. He made clothing from goat skins. He forged knives from scraps of iron. But his greatest tool was the Bible. He read it aloud every day, not just for faith, but to hear a human voice, to keep his language alive, to keep his mind from breaking. One day, ships appeared on the horizon. Hope surged, but it faded quickly. They were Spanish. Capture meant torture or slavery. Selkirk ran. He disappeared into the forest. He climbed trees and watched soldiers pass beneath him, never knowing how close they were. Freedom survived by inches. Then in 1710, everything changed. Ships appeared again. This time they were British. Selkirk ran to the shore. He lit fires. He waved frantically. When sailors landed, they could not believe what they saw. A man, half wild and unrecognizable, still alive after 4 years and 4 months of complete isolation. Captain Woodes Rogers jokingly called him the governor of the island. Selkirk shocked the crew. He was healthy, focused, calm. He joined them, returned to the sea, and in 1711, he finally returned to England. His unbelievable story spread across the country. It later inspired Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. Centuries later, Chile renamed one of the Juan Fernandez Islands Alejandro Selkirk Island, a permanent tribute to a man who survived the unimaginable. Alexander Selkirk did not conquer the island. He adapted to it, and in doing so, he proved something powerful. When everything is taken from you, the human can still survive. If this story kept you listening, make sure to subscribe for more true stories from the darkest corners of history. Until next time, stay curious and stay alive.